The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome to the Happiness Jungle TV show with yours truly, Lyn-Dee Eldridge. I am so excited about today's show. You know, back in 1995, I remember using this new program. It was so new about how to keep your customers tight, how to understand and how to be able to communicate better with them. And back then, computers were not, well, they were just coming in to the homes, but they were already in the businesses, right? So I worked at a hair salon, and they just got in their first computer, and they learned about this system called Constant Contact. And we used it, and we loved it, and today they are still in existence. Well, I am super excited. You know, remember when I talked to you about your inner circle, who you hang out with will introduce you to more greater people, smarter than you are, and that's really what you want in life? Well, sure enough, in my inner circle, I was introduced to the co-founder of Constant Contact, Mr. Alec Stern from Boston, and that's who we have with us today and what we're going to talk about, and I hope that you're ready for it because everybody's ready for good change. We're going to talk about the pillars of achieving success. Doesn't that rev you up? The pillars of achieving success. Alec Stern. Hi, Alec.
How are you?
Oh my
so
gosh.
So great to meet you.
I am so excited.
Yeah, I was excited to be on the show with you.
Yeah. I've been using you for a long time.
Very long time.
Very long. Am I right? 1995?
Well, the company started in 95, and we
Yeah.
were just kind of getting things going with, with the product. Sort of kind of early 2000 is when we brought out the product that sort of started the flywheel going of a lot of customers signing up.
Okay, but was it in like a beta testing? Wasn't it out there? Because I remember.
Yeah, there's very early signs of it. Probably 97 would be probably or so would be the earliest.
Well, that makes even more sense.
So yeah, so it's it was definitely in its infancy and being tested. You know, I guess that's one of the things. Like if you know, a lot of people have ideas and want to create new products, and they want to just sit in the lab and in their offices and keep iterating and working on it. We really took the approach that's, I think, is the best approach is to just get it out there, because then you're going to get feedback. And your customers start to use it, and they're going to tell you what they like and don't like. And that allowed us to sort of iterate on the fly, if you will, with real customer feedback.
Yeah. You know, it was interesting to me, the whole thing when the computer age started to happen in the homes. You know, I remember that. I owned a hair salon, I owned a pet store, and so it was all new to me. And then I brought the computer in with that huge tower, right? And then programming and everything, so it was interesting, but you're an innovator.
Yes, yes.
I'm very intrigued with innovators.
All right.
And
since I was a kid.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I was constantly looking at either a product or a service and saying, well, this could be done better, or is there a better way to deliver that service? And we all have a high expectation of the services that we receive, but I'm always just had that mind to just think about what's something that could be done better with existing things. So.
Wow. Yeah. You know, I talk about that a lot in the Happiness Jungle. Usually what you were passionate about as a child will bring you into your happiness as an adult, will bring you success. Because success never brings happiness, but happiness does bring success,
exactly.
Right?
I love it.
Yeah, and so I'm so happy that you even said that. We don't like pre-discuss what we're going to discuss, so that was very exciting to me. And,
we're aligned.
Yeah, we're very aligned. And so the passion. And so Constant Contact, it became, and it took off and it's doing well. But you're also passionate about other things.
Sure. Yeah, when we started Constant Contact, we had three of us in an attic, and so there were two folks on the sort of more the technical side. I was on the business and go-to-market side. we really complemented each other really well, and of course the folks on the technical side could certainly talk the talk on business as well. And so, that sort of really fueled in me, the like being passionate about small business and being passionate about seeing small businesses succeed, and what could we do to help with that. And we had a lot of folks that didn't support what we were doing. When we went out to tell that we were going to work with small businesses, there were all the objections that came up about, no one sells to small business unless you're in like an Intuit or an ADP or, someone with this army of people and money. Small businesses are not going to use, their computer in their inbox, or they would use their inbox, like their email account. Why would they need a product like this? And there were a lot of things that sort of got in our way, but we held true to our passion to really level the playing field for small businesses against their big box competitors, because all the big companies had figured it out. They either had agencies or they had staff to drive their marketing, but a small business didn't have any of that. And oftentimes the owner of the small business, just like you were in the salon, you wore a lot of hats. And so what could we do to assist them in the marketing side of it, so that they could stay top of mind and in front of their customers, but do it in an easy, self-service way. And so that really, having the passion to help see them succeed and then develop a product that led to their success, and hearing it all the time and still do today.
Yeah.
Where I walk down Main Street in any city I'm in and stop into businesses and they're like, oh my God, Constant Contact, I love it, I use it.
That's right.
It was a game changer for us. It's just really just gives me the chills, and it's just fueled me to go on and do other things and find other passions, and see what I could do to create other things in either product or service.
I love that.
Yeah, so.
Okay, so right there, never give up.
Right.
No matter what, never give up. There's always those blockers. I talk about that too, and I'm like, kick those blockers away. They're jealous of you. They don't, they don't want you to succeed. They want you to stay inside that inner circle of control. Get out of that. So that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and you raise sort of a good point, because while others will challenge you to really say, well, is there an opportunity here, and would it potentially succeed? Right. I think the flip side of that, though, is there is that little bit of a caution to say some folks are so passionate about an idea that they put the blinders on, like the horse blinders, right? Where they just see and say, I'll go down with this ship, to just make sure it succeeds. And I see many that will fail because they just don't either get out of their own way or let their customers really tell them, is this what I want or not? And so hook or crook, they're gonna figure it out. But they're doing it mostly in a vacuum and with a mindset that's not open to change. And that, I think, ends up causing a lot of businesses to fail.
Alec, I can't agree with you more. This year is the year of the cookies in the Happiness Jungle. And
I love cookies.
I love cookies. I love dessert. Oh, I love dessert. Oh, my gosh. That's a whole nother topic. But it's how to maintain a positive, productive posture while your cookies are crumbling. And the first step is listening. Listen, just like you said, take those blinders off and be open. But for me, I always made sure I was in a room and going towards more experts that have what I want, that knew better than I did, that said to me, learn from my boo-boo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and there are a lot of people that would jump on the bandwagon, want to see you succeed, and will also share with you the points of success and failure that they had. As you get into, we all have that one thing, or a few things that sit in front of us that's a big blocker, or something that we, like a problem in the business or whatever it is. And most people just let it sort of hang on and just grow as a problem, as opposed to figuring out how to knock it down.
That's right.
Because sitting right behind is a bigger one, or a different one. And how do you knock that one down? And so you have to get into that rhythm of figuring out how to knock those things down.
Be solution-driven.
And also others around you will help. If you don't necessarily see exactly what it is, or maybe you do, but they'll also assist you in saying, okay, I've been at this crossroad and I can guide you how to get out of it.
Yeah, that's fabulous. Oh my gosh, this is great. And read, acknowledge, right? Acknowledge what it is that you want. And if you're a bad reader, if you're dyslexic, if you have any kind of challenges, I never call them problems, they're always challenges, because challenges you can always overcome. There are ways, to keep exercising your mind to become better. And you're absolutely right. If it doesn't work, then maybe you need to go, and, go towards something else. Because we both know that we didn't become successful without failing, without those obstacles. Everybody thinks that we had no obstacles. What's up with that?
More than you can imagine.
Right?
And there's all kinds of ways you could say failing. You learn from it, but fail fast, fail forward.
Yeah.
Take those learnings so that it doesn't happen again.
That's right.
Or at least when it does, you can figure out how to maneuver through it faster and better.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, so now, and I got to talk about the handy cane. And I have to talk about it because my mom, who's 84 years old, and we shrink as we get older. It's the craziest thing.
What are you talking about?
I know. But somewhere along the line, like last year, I kind of lost like a half inch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I went to the doctor and they took my measurements and they said 5.5, and I'm like, no, wait a second, there's something, you're wrong. And they said, well, let's try again. Yeah. And I said, well, let me go get my shoes.
Yeah.
But it's a reality.
Yeah, exactly,
it's a reality.
Exactly.
And so you came out with a new invention.
That's correct. Yeah, and so I'm really fortunate to have met rock stars that are mechanical engineers.
Yeah.
They had a long sort of history of creating and disrupting current markets. You either come out with something like a Constant Contact was brand new as the first in a market for small business. Now others were doing it on the enterprise side and for larger business, but we really disrupted, kind of coming up with something first, and many followed to sort of try to compete and so forth.
Right.
So you're either doing that or you're looking at existing markets and saying there is a better way to deliver a better product and or a better service. And so we came up with the Handy Cane, so the TheHandy cane, thehandycane.com. And it was really with one of my co-founders that was visiting a friend in the hospital, and the occupational therapist came in with the survival kit. Right, so he had knee surgery, so he needed a cane, he needed a grasper reacher, and he needed a sock puller, things that he just, because he couldn't bend the knee, were necessities. So my co-founder had visited his friend, and the grasper jammed and broke quickly within a day or so. The sock puller wasn't really that effective, and of course then he didn't feel as stable on the cane. So he just said, these canes have been around for hundreds of years, for certainly many decades, and there just hadn't been a lot of sort of any attempts to sort of make it better. And there are some that have come along, but one of the things that we was quickly identified was that oftentimes someone who's older and is struggling needs a cane to get around, but also needs a grasper or reacher to be able to pick something up that they drop or off a shelf or in a supermarket, and so on. And so no one walks around with both. My mother, as an example, she had a grasper in every room, and she would walk around with her cane, and when she needed something, she'd pick up that grasper because she didn't want to carry it with her.
Right.
But the minute she left the house, and in one example, she dropped her car keys right by the door of her car, but she couldn't bend down and pick them up.
Oh.
She was afraid she was going to fall, so she waited 20 minutes till someone showed up.
Wow.
And she's calling the kids and everyone. No one was around to help her. 20 minutes later, someone came and picked the keys up and gave it to her. And so that's just one example of what led to the Handy Cane, which is it's an all-in-one walking cane and reaching grasper. And so you're walking along, and all of a sudden, just quick movement of the sleeve in the middle, it turns into one of the best quality graspers. So my mom could have just quickly converted to a grasper, picked up those keys, and gone on her way. And so now she doesn't move without that next to her. Some people it's your cell phone. For my mom, it's her Handy Cane.
Oh, nice.
Because she's constantly in need of grabbing something, and the graspers and things she had at home just were not that effective, and usually would just pancake something and it would slip through and fall, and she just played with trying to pick something up for a while. And now she's got a really great quality cane and grasper combined.
Right. I love it.
Thank you.
I love it. And again, it's just being alert to the necessities of life.
Right. It was really around giving your independence back, get your independence back, give you your mobility when you walk out of the house.
Yeah.
But now it also works well in the house. But you can go to that supermarket. We deal with aged those recovering from injury or surgery and certainly disabled.
Sure.
Where a lot of folks have said, you know, I don't go to the supermarket, I feel funny every aisle asking someone to grab something for me.
Yeah.
I can't go lower, I can't go high. Now they can, you know, take the handy cane
Right.
with them and be self-sufficient.
That's amazing. And you're right. You know, it's for veterans. It's for everybody. What about kids?
Kids as well.
Is it adjustable?
Yeah.
Is
So
it,
there's so today there's sort of 3 sizes.
Yeah.
We can custom make a smaller or larger size if needed compared to what we have today. That's not hard to do, and we have some new things we're working on for the future. But right now we can kind of satisfy 95% of the people with the 3 sizes we have, because you don't necessarily need it fit to an exact size. Usually there's a 4-inch swing between when you're putting it in front of you or it's dragged in behind. And so we can cover kind of the majority of the folks out there with those 3 sizes.
Right. So what are you working on now? What's
Well,
for this future? Without, you know, giving away all the ingredients, but I love the mind. I love how it works, you know?
Yeah, and so the same team that I have 2 other co-founders that are incredible mechanical engineers, as I mentioned, and then another a team of engineers as well. I previously had met my one co-founder who was creating a laparoscopic stapler for quartering off arteries and stuff during surgery. And so I ended up meeting him, thinking, okay, this, you know, once in a while you meet those people, like no matter what the problem is, they'll figure out a solution.
Yeah.
And when there's a challenge that faces them with that solution, they'll find a way to fix it. Wow. And he's one of those guys, and I just really look up to him. And so I invested in that company and that product with him, which sold. And then that led us to start sort of this innovation think tank, which the handy cane was the first product we brought to market. And we're working on 2 other ones, a manufactured product and also a medical device.
Right.
So we have some other things. And a lot of this is outside of my pay grade and my league.
Yeah, yeah.
But certainly as it relates to go-to-market and bringing products out to market, that's certainly my area of strength. And so I can add my value at a point in time, but as we lead into it, I'm learning a lot and certainly riding on the coattails of some really, really bright people on that innovation think tank.
Right. Well, I love it. It takes a team.
It does.
It takes a team. And if we all thought the same way, we'd be in trouble, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like the screw and the nut. We all have to work together. If the nut did what the screw did, you know, what's the point of being a nut, right? Oh, that's pretty good,
That's
isn't
good.
it? Yeah, I think
What would you do without you need each other. What would you do without
What would you
the
do,
other?
right? Yeah, exactly. So I remember back in 1996, I have a few inventions, but they never came to surface. I was just beginning. You know, I was a single mom, but I came out with an invention, and it has to do with motorcycles, and I can't tell you what it is because it never went to a patent. It went to a patent attorney who ended up wanting more money, and of course I didn't have that money, but I still have the prototype. You know, I said I can make this prototype, and within 5 minutes, because I'm solution driven.
Yeah, sure.
Big solution driven here. And I looked at this challenge that was going on, and I said, and I went ahead and I went upstairs and I took out my sewing machine because I'm a crafter, whatever I could do, right? And I went ahead and I'm like, oh my God, I need this, this, and this. And boom, all of a sudden I had this item, and then I tested it, and it worked so beautifully. It gave the people that were using it more self-confidence. They felt safer.
Sure.
So, and I still have the prototype. I just haven't brought it back out of the envelope, if you will.
Is that a resolution for 2018?
Yeah, you know what? I think it is.
Let's make it one.
Yeah, there you go. I think it is. I think that because it has a great value creating a solution for a challenge, and it has to do with safety, and it has to do with children, and it has to do with motorcycles. It has to do with you know.
Very good.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that, you know, and like I said, to this day, it even travels with me. It's the craziest thing, because I'm down in South Florida a lot now. I'm up here, depending on the weather, and yeah, it's always there. It never got packed in a box.
That's okay.
You know, and put away. So, yeah, the time is, you know, for it to be birthed.
Yeah, I always say, so that's a great example of, you know, we all have these ideas, and I think even in the case of the early days of Constant Contact, while we had to figure out what that one core thing we were going to do, and if we nailed that one thing, we would get customers, we would get feedback, we'd get revenue, we could then hire other people and sort of let the business sort of kind of go from there.
Right.
But if we looked at like a bicycle wheel, every spoke was an idea we had to help small business. And we finally said, we got to put guardrails up and say, this is the one thing we're going to start with, and take all those other ideas and put them on the shelf, and then know that someday we're going to come back around and pull them down off the shelf and revisit. And so some of those things came into play later, but we just had to really kind of stay the course and focus, because we often are wide-eyed to think we can just solve all these things for the target audience that we're serving, and find that one that you can just get out, get tested, get feedback, and then bring to market.
Right. Yeah. And I was excited, I even took it to the DOTs and I asked them, what are their thoughts about that? And I was really, and I told them, I said, you can't insult me. You cannot insult me. I'm not the fabric, so you cannot insult me. Right. But I am very interested because of the safety value. And they gave me great corrective criticism. They said, if only it did this and this. And I'm like, thank you so much.
So valuable.
So valuable, versus being upset because they didn't love my creation. Right. So people have got to calm down and be listening and open to receiving.
Sure.
But
so you raise a really good point there. So oftentimes when you have an idea, the first people we go to are either people we've done business with before, people we know well, our family, and they're going to give you false feedback. They're going to be all so proud, and
I'm
my
so
God,
glad you say
you're so
this.
amazing, and oh my God, you definitely bring that to market. It's exactly what I need. But when you go to people you don't know, you're going to get brutal, honest feedback, and that's what you need, because you won't be able to really understand the customer requirement from different vantage points, including your example there, to just get that feedback to then say, okay, this is what I need to take it to market.
Yeah. Wow. Very, very powerful. What are some really great tips that you could give people that they got stuck? They just got stuck. They got stuck in this monopoly of no longer having employment.
Right.
For whatever reason. I'm not even going to create their challenges or anything. But they're sitting home and they're like, you know what? I could do something.
Sure.
I really could.
No, I think so. It's a great question, and I spend a third of my time going around the world speaking.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
Meeting tens of thousands of folks that are either changing careers or finally said, okay, I have this idea and I put that idea on the shelf for way too long, and now I want to do something with it. And I think that really understanding the market opportunity. Like, we might have a really good idea, but if there's only 10 people in the world that need it, it's not really worth sort of spending a ton of time and money on. So I think the first thing is just really validating the market opportunity and the size. So in the case of Constant Contact, we were dealing with small business. What's the landscape of in the U.S. and or in North America, Canada, for example.
Right.
What does that look like? And then understanding how did we define who the small business is that we were going to work with? Because not all small businesses are equal. Like, if I asked you, how do you define small business in size? You might do revenue, number of employees, or a number of customers, or whatever it may be. And so you'd say, okay, what's the threshold? And so in the case of Constant Contact, which is still in existence and doing really, really well, I saw 2 TV commercials for it last night.
It's still alive.
It's going strong, going stronger than ever.
It's got a great heartbeat.
And it's got a great team. And we were acquired by a great company that really believes in it, and they're taking it to the next level.
Beautiful.
And so when we originally started, we wanted to deal with walk down Main Street. That's going to be our customer. Just anyone you see. Whether it be the gallery, the restaurant, the lawyer, the accountant, the real estate broker, the hair salon. That was going to be our customer.
Yeah.
And so today, with over 650,000 customers, 70% have 10 employees or less, and 20% have 1 employee.
Wow.
So we were dealing with the V in very small business.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah, you were.
So that was our niche, and we were going to sort of stay there. And oftentimes you get people challenging you to say, well, why don't you go up market? You could charge more, you can do all these things. But we really stay the course to stay in that sweet spot of really, very small business. And so I think people just have to just go out and do the market sizing and understand what is in. And I think eyes got wide open when we really saw just how big the market could be in terms of prospective customers. So.
Yeah, I love that. And thanks for sticking and staying with the mom and pops.
Yeah, no,
I'm
I love
old fashioned, okay?
it.
I want the mom and pops to stay alive.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer on that.
Shop local.
Yeah, shop local.
Yeah, so someone once coined the phrase that we're the and localer, right? So just really local
Yeah.
down on Main Street.
Yeah,
So,
I'm all about that too. Obviously, I was a small mom and
Yeah.
pop, but you know, I do that as well. So I'm excited. We're almost out of time.
yeah, like that flew.
I know,
Flew by.
it literally flew. I want you, first of all, I give out these hearts all over the world
Okay.
as I travel and I meet people as well. And I got to give this to you. And it's
Okay.
a charm. It's just a heart charm.
Thank you.
So you know
Oh, that's
how
so
when
sweet.
you're
Thank you.
when you're thinking, you like just
Yeah.
to fidget,
This
you
is
know,
it. This will
when
be
you
my
flip
new.
clamped or anything.
This will be
there
my
you
new.
go. There you go. That's your new little.
fits.
Yeah, I like that. I think your heart is a lot
Yeah,
bigger than that.
so.
Why would you like people to get in touch with you?
I'll inform them on things that I'm involved with. So I do speak a lot, and
Yeah.
in a lot of different communities, or around the world, but mostly around the U.S. So there's always opportunities for really great conferences that
And I love
would
that.
help people with ideas and startups. I also work with a lot of universities and a lot of the accelerator programs.
Okay.
So I'm mentoring, judging, speaking, advising. So there's a lot of things that I'll expose to people of opportunities that whether I'm there or not, they may be, to be able to take that idea and go to an accelerator and have
Yeah.
someone work with them for 3 or 4 months as an organization that's helping a bunch of folks together. And you'd have people sitting next to you with working on other ideas, but the challenges that you may be facing could be
Yeah.
similar at that time. And now you have others to work with. So there's a lot of things that I'll start to communicate out a little bit more. Just have been a little bit too busy to do it, but my goal is to communicate more about the pillars and some learnings to be able
Okay.
to share and educate folks
I like
on
that. And we're almost out of time. I have to introduce you to the Dean of Deans over at FAU
Okay,
in
thanks,
Florida.
Sam.
I think that you would be an amazing asset for their students to be
Sure, I love it.
listening to. Oh God, I'm going to be part of that audience as well.
All right, I would love it.
Alec, thank you so
Yeah.
much. I wish we had more time.
No
This
worries.
has been
Thank you.
amazing, amazing. Hey, everybody, I never said that life was easy, but I did say you can be happier. And it's all about just believing in yourself, believing what you have, listening, and be willing to listen to the experts that have already been there and adjust yourself with corrective criticism, okay? Because there's nothing like it, and it's absolutely delicious, and you deserve more in life than just sitting on that couch right now. So with that, everybody, we wish you an amazing day, and you take your dreams with you wherever you go. Bye-bye for now. Say bye, Alec.
Bye now.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.